Yeah. He's at it again, and it's different. It's different enough. It kind of has the same tone a little bit, but completely unique, obviously, of Desperate Housewives. So it's a lot of fun.
He's also doing a good job with not letting too many clues out on who killed the maid, because I really, at this point, I would only be guessing, and it would just be out of thin air, because I know that a lot of the times on these types of shows, when you really think you know who it is, it, of course, is never that person,
Yeah. They do enough to point you towards one person, really to kind of throw you off the track, and you're completely off. I haven't heard anybody, even family, even my wife, who I told after I read the script, has forgotten and doesn't know who it is.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Great job. Great
job.
A
good surprise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Not suspecting.
Yeah.
So.
Well, what's it like to be on a show that comes from a Spanish soap and has so many Latinas on the show? I would think that it's probably a really powerful statement for the Spanish community and, of course, the women.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. I think that it's awesome that it's being received as well as it has been. And yeah, that's an added bonus that it's the first time in TV's history that it's 5 Latina leads. It's great. It was a fun atmosphere. My storyline, obviously, primarily is with Rosalind. They don't really cross-pollinate too much, except for the girls when they get together. So my experience is mainly with her and Melinda Hamilton, who's Odessa, and it's fantastic. Rosalind and I are friends from way back. Her husband is one of my best friends.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it was really, really cool to work with her on a professional level as well. I didn't really know what that was going to be like, but it was exceptional. She's very talented and giving and generous, and I couldn't have asked for a better storyline and setup, really, with that show. It's been really special, yeah.
Well, it's funny, too, because, of course, every single person that's on that show is extremely talented, and we've seen them in a lot of other shows. But here you are on there from Days of Our Lives, which I watch and Sabina watches. And then, of course, I watch All My Children, and that has Susan Lucci. And then I watch General Hospital, which has Brianna Brown that's on there.
Oh, right.
Yep. And now Peter Port from YNR, so they've hit all the networks.
They sure have. Also, Paula, right? Paula. The girl who plays Flora, she's currently doing a soap, and she was on One Life to Live, I think, before. She's either
One
doing
Life
that.
to Live, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so they've hit quite a few of the soaps for this show, which is awesome, because us as fans, we fall in love with our families from TV, and especially our soaps when you watch them for so many years, and then when a certain actor or actress leaves, we follow them throughout their career and watch them in different things. So I think that's probably a good thing for you guys that you have fans like that.
Absolutely.
As long as they can separate the reality from fiction.
That's right. I have never met a more loyal group of fans than the Days of Our Lives fans. That was a unique experience, getting to meet a ton of them. And you're right, they totally follow you and are supportive. It's great to have them have your back, for sure.
Yeah, I know Sabina had some Days of Our Lives questions. Why don't you go ahead, Sabina?
Yeah, I was actually wanting to know how you landed the role of Brandon Walker on there.
The role of Brandon, wow, that was in 1999 when I first landed that. It was a long audition process, actually, just as through the traditional channels. I was submitted by my agent, met with the casting director, hit it off well with the casting director, and she called me back to meet the producers. And probably a month later, they had the screen test, and there was myself and 9 other guys.
Oh, wow.
Victor Webster was one of them. He was a friend of mine. I had worked with him prior. And he and I both ended up getting offered parts. Mine was for Brandon, and he, if you remember, he played Nicholas there for a while. Nicholas Alpine.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were fantastic. I absolutely loved your character, and you did a fantastic job. And of course, I miss the character on days, but I'm glad that you're back on Devious-Maids so I can watch you in action, because you are definitely a great actor.
Thank you, Cedeño. I appreciate that.
I was wondering if, well, first, what it was like working with Ari Zucker, and then if you keep in touch with her.
We sadly we don't really. We did for a little while, and then life just got, life in the way. Life got in the way, and life got very busy.
Right.
She had 2 kids. I'm not really sure. It's been several years since I've seen her. I think it was probably 2009 was the last time that I saw her. But it was great. We had great chemistry working together. She was awesome. I have nothing but nice things to say about Ari. We really had a bond, and we're good friends, and she was really cool. Really cool.
She is fantastic. I actually had the pleasure of meeting her at a fan event in April, and she was so much fun. She's really good at dancing, and she just was a lot of fun to meet. Yeah,
she's really cool. I didn't know she was a good dancer. That's new. Maybe she took some lessons. I knew that she was good. She was a great horseback rider, right? Like, she's involved in equestrian. She's an equestrian. Is that what you're saying? Yeah. She's good at that. The dancing, no idea. Wow, good for her.
You guys didn't hang out at any dance parties or anything. They actually turned on music for like the last hour, and a lot of us got out there and danced. Her and Eric Martzoff, and I mean, it was a lot of fun. It was just a little party, so it was a lot of fun.
Awesome. Very cool.
I was wondering, I guess you didn't really get to work with Valerie Wildman that much. I can't remember if you got to work with her. She was there.
We did quite a bit.
Actually, you did? Okay. I couldn't remember. Yeah. I've actually watched on and off, so there are things that I didn't get to see, and I don't remember getting to see. Actually, I don't think I ever got to see her on the show at all, but I have met her as well, and she's wonderful. She's super sweet. Do you ever keep in touch with her?
She's an amazing lady. Not really. Recently through Twitter, we kind of exchanged some stuff. So no, not in touch with her either. Really, the only person is Eric, who's Rosalind's husband. Eric Winter played Rex.
Yeah. Yeah, I loved him.
He's the only one that I'm consistently in touch with from days. Through the social media channel, Jim Reynolds still. That's about it. Occasionally I would see Allison. Everything just kind of faded. Everybody, got busy doing their own thing, and it just has kind of faded.
Right. So I was curious, what has been your favorite role so far?
My favorite role?
Aside
from the one I'm currently doing, which I'm, having a lot of fun with, I really love doing the Romancing the Bride with Laura Prepon.
Yeah, and I love her too.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Huh?
Funny you should mention that. I said funny you should mention that because I was actually going to ask you about that because I haven't gotten to see it, and I don't know how I missed it, but I've got to try to find it now. It's hard to find some of these movies. And I was going to ask you to share a fond memory or funny short story from making the movie.
From making that movie? The whole movie was a funny short story. It was a great experience. We flew down to Acapulco, and we shot that in about 5 weeks. And it was just super cool because, she and I were the two leads in the film, so it was pretty much us every single day. And it was fun. It was a long time ago already. The years had passed. I think it was 2008 5 or 6 or something like that we shot that. But it was cool. It was just one of those movie sets where everybody was gracious and giving and fun to be around, and there was never a dull moment. Laura had brought her assistant with her, and she was a lot of fun. So we just had a blast, like the whole time shooting that. It was a really cool experience. Yeah.
It looks good.
It was. I think that you can still find that if you Google it. I think for sure Amazon has it. I don't know where you can stream it. I'm not sure exactly, but I know it's out there. You can see it.
Yeah, you might be able to find it on Hulu or Netflix or something.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I'll definitely be looking for it, and I'll tweet you when I find it and let you know when I've watched it.
Yeah, please do.
So I'm just curious, when was it that you knew you wanted to become an actor?
Truthfully, it wasn't until later. I was more in the mindset growing up of trying to play sports and be an athlete. It wasn't really until I kind of started traveling around. Started initially in the mid-'90s doing some modeling, and that took me to Europe and took me to Spain and Italy and back to New York for a while, and just upon meeting a lot of people that were in and out of the business, the acting business as well, I just kind of learned about it and vicariously through some of those people, and just kind of decided on a whim to go down and check it out. So it wasn't really until 95 or 96 that I moved down here. I just started enrolling in acting classes and got the bug, and happened into an agent, and that was the agent that sent me out. There was only a few auditions into it that I had. Well, my first audition I booked for her. It was a sitcom. Like my first couple I booked, which was kind of surreal, so I was very hooked on it fast. And then she was the one that sent me on days probably a year after I had been with her and landed that. So
oh, wow.
I was early 20s when I got the bug.
Yeah,
that's late really for people.
Yeah.
Usually it's like when they're like 5 years old, like my daughter used to tell me, I think she was even younger than that, Mom, I want to be a movie star. And now she's 22 and she's not a movie star. She doesn't even want to do acting.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah. See, well, for me it was a little different. Like growing up where I'm from, it was such a small town. It was just so far off. The whole world of entertainment was just not something that was ever discussed, or really there wasn't anybody who knew anything about it. So it wasn't like it is today. Today there's so many reality shows that kind of illuminate the process of being an actor, and Hollywood is just so much more well known, I think, nowadays than it was back then. It was just really kind of a mystery. So it wasn't anything that I knew of anybody aspiring to be growing up in my circles. Yeah.
Well, how do you think you've grown since your first part?
I feel like I've grown tremendously, and I still feel like there's a long way to go. I think it's kind of a lifelong journey of ever developing your craft. I cringe when I look at beginning episodes of Days. I think I was really, really green and brand new. And you hear it many times, that's kind of like a great training ground for acting, soap star.
Right.
And it was for me in a sense, because I was really new. So come a long way, got a long way to go.
Well, I would imagine that being on a soap, helped you learn how to memorize lines really fast and really well with so many, pages of lines that you have to memorize. Yes,
exactly. Yeah, it kind of helps prepare you for the fast pace of television. That's probably the fastest pace. Fastest pace is on a soap, and we definitely encountered that quite a bit actually this season with Devious-Maids, because